On a lonely colony, an old alien widow lived quietly with her daughter, until one night, a soldier knocked at their door. Hunted, broken, and desperate for shelter. What happened next was a choice that would test honor, mercy, and survival itself. This is the story of the widow and the soldier. On the far edge of a forgotten colony, where the stars glimmered cold and the wind sang through broken fences, there lived an old alien widow and her daughter. They were quiet folk, keepers of the fields, survivors of war. To the outpost settlers, they were strange but harmless. But one night, long after the suns had set, danger came knocking. Not in whispers, not in rumors, but in the heavy boots of a soldier hardened by battles she had long hoped to forget. This is the story of how an old lady, her daughter, and a stranger bound by duty faced a night that changed everything. The house was simple, stone walls, patched metal roof, a single light glowing faintly against the darkness. The old alien woman sat by the hearth, her silver skin wrinkled with age, her eyes dim yet alert. Beside her, her young daughter hummed quietly, braiding strands of dried grass into toys. Then came the knock. Heavy. Relentless. A sound that rattled the door. The girl froze, eyes wide. Mother. The old woman rose slowly, leaning on her carved staff. She had lived through wars, invasions, and the silence that followed. She knew the sound of soldiers' boots. She opened the door. Standing there was a man, broad-shouldered, clad in scarred armor, his face shadowed beneath a battered helmet. His weapon gleamed in the faint moonlight. "Shelter," he said, his voice rough. "For one night." The widow's gaze swept over him. His armor bore the mark of the Empire, the same empire that had burned her home, the same soldiers who had taken her husband. But behind him, the night was vast and full of danger. And her people's code was older than war. "Come in," she said. The soldier sat at the table, silent, his weapon never far from reach. The old woman moved with slow dignity, pouring water, breaking bread. The girl peeked at him from behind her mother's robes, curiosity and fear mingling in her wide eyes. Finally, the woman spoke. "What brings an empire's soldier to my door?" The man's jaw tightened. "I'm no longer theirs." "A deserter?" she asked calmly. He did not answer. Instead, he removed his helmet, revealing a face carved by battle scars across his cheek, eyes like storm clouds. He looked young, but already weary, as if carrying the weight of 10 lifetimes. The girl whispered, "Is he dangerous, mother?" The soldier's eyes flicked toward her. "Yes." His honesty was sharp, unflinching. The old woman's staff tapped against the floor. "Then you will keep your danger on that side of the table. My house is no battlefield." For the first time, something softened in his gaze. Respect, perhaps. As the night deepened, the wind carried sounds. Distant boots, metallic clicks, the low hum of a patrol. The girl pressed close to her mother. "They're searching," the soldier said quietly. "For me." The old woman's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "I left the front," he admitted. "I would not slaughter families anymore. My commander called it treason. They sent hunters after me." Silence filled the room, heavy as stone. The widow studied him, seeing not just the scars on his face but the cracks in his soul. She had seen soldiers like him before, men who came as monsters, but left as broken shells. "You have brought danger to my door," she said. "Yes," he agreed, his voice hoarse. "And I will leave before it touches you." But even as he spoke, the boots outside grew louder. The girl clutched her mother's robe. "Mother, they'll find him." The old woman placed a hand on her daughter's head, her gaze steady on the soldier. "If I turn you away, they will kill you. If I keep you, they may kill us all. Why should I risk my daughter for you?" The soldier lowered his eyes. "You shouldn't." But the widow remembered another night, long ago, her husband dragged away by soldiers who wore the same armor. She had begged for mercy. None had come. And here, now, mercy stood in her hands. She straightened her shoulders. Then stay. If danger comes, we face it together. The soldier stared at her, astonished. Why? Her answer was simple. Because once, no one stood for me. The door burst open. Soldiers in gleaming armor stormed inside, weapons raised. Their leader's voice rang out, "The deserter. Hand him over, and we will leave you unharmed." The old woman stepped forward, staff planted firmly against the ground. Her daughter clung to her side, trembling. "This house is mine," she said, her voice strong despite her age. "No man is taken from it by force." The commander sneered. "Old fool. Stand aside." Before he could advance, the deserter rose, weapon in hand. But the widow raised her staff sharply. "No," she commanded. "You are my guest. My word shields you. If they would dishonor that, then let them try." Something shifted in the air. For the first time, the commander hesitated. The code of hospitality was ancient, older than empires, older than war. To break it was to draw the wrath of every settler, every elder, every clan who still remembered honor. The commander's jaw clenched. But the soldiers lowered their weapons, murmuring uneasily. "Not tonight," the commander spat, retreating into the dark. The house was silent again. The fire had burned low. The girl finally slept, curled in her mother's arms. The deserter sat across from the widow, his weapon untouched now. His voice was quiet, almost reverent. "You could have handed me over. Saved yourself. Saved her. Why didn't you?" The old woman's eyes softened, though her face remained stern. "Because mercy is stronger than fear. And because someday, when my daughter is grown, I want her to know that even in the darkest times, we did not turn away from those who needed us." The soldier lowered his head. "I owe you my life." "No," she said. "You owe it to yourself. Live better than the men you fled from. That will be enough." When dawn came, the soldier was gone, leaving only his helmet behind, a silent promise that he would not forget. The widow and her daughter stood in the doorway, watching the horizon burn with light. The girl asked, "Will he be safe?" The old woman rested her hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Safety is not promised, child. But kindness lives longer than fear." And in that quiet corner of the galaxy, the memory of one night, of mercy given to a stranger, echoed far longer than the footsteps of soldiers.